Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. This is your host, Minette Lawrence, having a solo ride for perhaps the first hour. Pastor Percival will be joining me shortly. And Pastor Percival, Godspeed, drive carefully, whatever it is you're doing, do it well, and hurry back to us because for us to start the day, we need the full team. Good morning to those in the house who managed to make it, who didn't have papers to submit and other activities to distract them from the 6 a.m. run. Mr. Engineer, thank you for your great faith in us, man. The let's say that even before we sat down in here, the show had started. So thank you for that, Mr. Engineer, producer, and my beautiful young intern who looks so much like my brother. Robin, I hope you're online and listening wherever you are in the Cayman Islands. Your daughter is at work. Good morning to those who have joined us on air. You know how we treasure your company. I've begun to create like just a visual of the many faces and those who join us, the family, the extended family on air. So when I say good morning, I have a picture of all of you joining us in the early morning hour to start your day with the morning connection. And those who are online, Mr. Conrad, Toronto is early. And what happened? The time change in Toronto, so now it's not really so early. How it go? Because it's the other way around. It's early. Anyway, good to see you, brother, and to know that you're in your money making season, but you still take time to share with us. And the others who have not given me a shout out online, but I know you're there listening. Thank you very much for joining us. This is a day with so many um, things lined up. I'm gonna start with the ones farther away and just work my way inwards until I get to what's going on in Jamaica on Tuesday, the 22nd of March. I had to hesitate because somehow the 23rd is in my mind. Let's start with I'm going to pluck something that is very much in line with how we speak here. And it's just amazing to see it that today is World Water Day. You see, my intern is hard at work telling me now what's going on beyond the things that I usually have immediately in my scope. So it's World Water Day. And the theme for this year's acknowledgement of the importance of water is groundwater, making the invisible visible. It's so spiritual that I decided I have to share it with you. How they have formulated this theme, and it is very much in keeping with the spirit of the things we do. Groundwater is invisible, but its impact is visible everywhere. Out of sight, under our feet, groundwater is a hidden treasure that enriches our lives. Almost all of the liquid fresh water in the world is groundwater. As climate change gets worse, groundwater will become more and more critical. We need to work together to sustainably manage this precious resource. Groundwater may be out of sight, but it must not be out of mind. And if you go online, you are invited to shoot a 60-second video that tells how groundwater affects your life. Is there enough of it? Is it safe? What needs to be done to protect groundwater? Share your groundwater story. Make a film. I'm sure you're probably going to win something if you do it. But these efforts by the international community to promote and highlight the importance of some of the things in our environment which we take for granted, things like air pollution. Well, we don't take air pollution for granted, though it's very much constant these days. But the necessity for clean air, we take the air we breathe for granted. And I do recall, as I'm saying it now, listening to a friend of mine who ministers and ministers with the gift of prophecy. I heard him during the middle of COVID crisis prophesying that the very air that we breathe will reject us and people are dying, crying for oxygen, something that you take for granted. You open your mouth or you step out into the world and you breathe, and you take it for granted that it will always be there. But the condition of it, how safe it is very much connected to our own behavior, our own treatment of our environment. So groundwater is being celebrated or acknowledged today. To be mindful that what we do to the environment, what we've already done, certainly what we do from this point on, can have an impact on this precious resource, which will remind every Jamaican who hears this now should be thinking cockpit country, the need to conserve and protect the environment that keeps this precious commodity safe and in abundance by Jamaica with its many rivers, so that we can start to give up on the beaches. Something we should never do, by the way. But I just mentioned that we have such an abundance of blessings that we sometimes forget that every one of them needs to be protected and guarded and treasured. So today is International Water Day. We've come up on the 6:30 break, so it's best I don't go into the other things that are being celebrated today as yet. I had such fun listening to Bonnie Wailer that I need to just listen to it quietly while we take our break, and then we'll be right back. Please stay with us. This is the Morning Connection on Bet 100 FM.
You're listening to Bet 100. We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADPEM. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Vijam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. Of course, you know that one of the commitments we make when we embark on discussing any issue, we try to take it to the level where you, the listener, can see how you fit into the picture as regards the decisions you take and the actions that you pursue. Now, today, as the world turns its attention for a little bit on the protection of water as a resource, I just thought I would share some basic facts with you concerning the Jamaican situation, because while internationally it may have a certain profile, we may think that Jamaica is not in a similar situation of crisis or not likely to be. I wouldn't want you to come to that understanding without some hardcore empirical data. So I'm going to share with you some water-related information coming out of the studies conducted by Mona. All right. Of course, the big challenge is how will climate change impact the availability of water, clean water as a necessary resource. So here are 4 Jamaican water facts. First is, Jamaica's fresh water resources come from surface sources, or rivers and streams, underground sources, wells and springs, and from harvesting rainwater. The groundwater supplies most, about 80% of Jamaica's water demands, and represents 84% of the island's exploitable water. So groundwater is massively important to Jamaica. The second water fact, rainfall is very important in Jamaica's water sector. The surface water resources have seasonal variability in flow, which can in part be linked to rainfall. Groundwater is also directly recharged by rainfall and indirectly from rivers and streams. 3. Water resources are important to Jamaica's economy. Water supports Jamaica's important sectors including tourism, recreation, mining, food and beverage processing, irrigated agriculture, and manufacturing. And the fourth water fact is, the major users of water are irrigated agriculture uses 33%, residential water use is 21%, and the environment 39%. Manufacturing, hotels, and mining uses less than 7% of the annual available water. Okay, so here's the impact that climate change can have on our water supply. And as you hear them, you should begin to think of the things you can do in your community, in your daily movement, to mitigate against these impacts. The first impact is climate change will likely increase the length of the dry season and lead to less annual rainfall by the end of the century. This will mean less water for communities supplied by a single spring or river sources. Now, you can't change the lengthening of the dry season, but you certainly can conserve on the use of water, the harvesting of water, and the protection of the springs, so that you don't divert and block the springs. You allow them to be a source of replenishing your water. The second impact, climate change will likely increase the frequency of very intense rains in the short to medium term. Very heavy rains will increase the amount of dirt and debris in the water flowing in watershed areas. Increased dirt and debris will mean additional work and costs to treat water for our daily use. While rainfall may be more intense, it may occur less frequently. When this happens, more water will simply run off the surface of the land and less will be available to replenish underground water sources, groundwater. So it will matter how we harvest the water. third impact of climate change, it can lead to a decrease in rainfall and increase in temperatures. On a long-term annual basis, decreased rainfall and increased temperatures will reduce potential groundwater recharge replenishment of underground water sources. Less water will be available for everyone. And the last impact, oh no, this is the fourth impact, it will increase the intensity of hurricanes. Stronger hurricanes pose an increased threat to infrastructure within the water sector, pumps, wells, etc., as well as to revenue after the event and during the recovery period. Increase the sea levels within the Caribbean in general and around the coast of Jamaica. This is the last significant impact that I'm going to mention. Sea levels will rise. Since many of Jamaica's wells used for agriculture, public water supply, and industry are located near the country's coasts, sea level rise poses a threat to coastal aquifers. Increased sea levels pose the risk of saline intrusion, this is salt water coming into freshwater supply, into the coastal aquifers, which means water quality will be compromised. Now, already we are seeing that the National Water Commission has been imposing some lockoffs to reduce the cost of their electricity and their fuel consumption bill to keep pumping water and I dare say treating water and handling sewage and moving sewage. So that fact has nothing to do with climate change. But can you imagine how more severe things will get when, in addition to these severe environmental impact, we also have the challenge of affording the cost that is involved in keeping our water safe and clean and in moving water through the various homes and communities in Jamaica. So not a matter to be taken lightly. And for those who have an entrepreneurial spirit, you should now begin to think, how can I make a business out of these? Every challenge presents an opportunity for some kind of economic activity that will improve. Water is going to be more valuable than gold. I think it is already more valuable than gold, just that we're not treating it as such. But once we begin to shift our position on it, we will see that water is indeed big business. Conrad says he drinks mostly distilled water these days. I now drink mostly distilled water, mostly. It's kind of funny. Well, not funny, haha. But already in Jamaica, the use of bottled water is like a national event. So we have become very accustomed to treating water as commodity. We know that it is one of priceless value. To echo the words of the NWC, water is life. Availability of water and equity in how people access water is very much something that Jamaica also we need to contend with. Right now, in today's Jamaica, there are communities without running water, without a reliable source of clean water, and that is one of the issues that cries out for attention. Good morning, Pastor Percival. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good morning.
And I welcome 2 delicious-looking mangoes that you've brought with you.
You don't have to bring for my friend, you know. Out of riches.
Out of the abundance of God's goodness. Oh, let me just show it to Conrad. What are these mangoes again? Julie. And I have to just show you that they are as delicious as they look. Thank you very much, Pastor Percival. You can be late tomorrow as well. Bearing gifts. All right. Today is International Water Day. And their theme is a very interesting theme. It's right there in your wheelhouse. Making the invisible visible.
I know. You heard it today on the way home and the radio.
Yes. So we're talking a little bit about it. Really just to share and lay the foundation for...
Probably they were being very spiritual. I mean,
yes, I said this is big thing.
There was an ad that ran yesterday. I'm talking about it, and this fan was saying, "Look at me, and them look nice." And the thing, I said, "Who we get water from? You know, good water we get from the reservoir in our community." Man say, "You hear the talk say you water going down, and it comes from the groundwater." And I said, "But never know." Say, "Well, watch it in, because this water is going down, and if you don't take good care of it, it's going to be our demise in the future." And I said, "Okay, here's what you do. Use the water that you use bathe and all of those things, and use it to water your yams and things, and you never know. It's even better because it's all of those nutrients that come with the runoff." So it's true. So you thought it was forever, and the man said, no. It's a addition commodity if you're not very careful. And that brings in sharp focus what's happening in our favorite thing, where you go up to a compound and those
Oh,
way, yeah,
cockpit country.
cockpit
Yeah,
country.
man. You know, so
It's a major
say
thing.
something about the
Yeah,
cockpit
because
country.
that contains 40 to 50% of our groundwater. Black River is from there, matter than a lot of, same, biggest river in Jamaica, Black River, and feeds into a lot of farm areas. So it's very important that we understand what water does, and that is why people have been saying, be very careful what you do. Your farming, your mining, and not understanding the unique balance that needs to happen between what is seen and unseen in regard to that. Yeah, and that's it for. Can we start? We come import and ship it to you.
I know. I see a future business emerging from all of our concentration on food because he says they pay $4.60 Canadian per pound for East Indian mango per pound. Man, the seed you have to pay for
You
the
pay for
seed.
the seed. Wow.
And then it got way more interesting. He says Juma sweet he loves to make them overripe and eat the skin.
Yeah, no, yeah, when I eat a mango, I eat everything except the seed, which I can't really eat.
Yeah, but you
You wash
tried.
it properly.
You
Yeah.
discovered that, yeah.
You discover early. It is so sweet.
Oh man, I had some Rottweiler puppies who used to eat mangoes. When you see how they eat that, the seed of the mango is white. They leave nothing on it.
Wow.
hmm
Let's try.
I don't know how to do it. I've never really watched them do it, but man, they were pretty good. All right, so there are 3 tips which I'm going to share with you. 3 things we can do to support the water sector's adaptation to a changing climate. Now, these tips come from the Climate Studies Group at MONA. And, I'm always so encouraged when I see the level of work that is taking place in some quarters of our country on these important matters. And then I get disappointed that it's not disseminated consistently and to the degree that it is needed. So each Jamaican who has a contribution to make can make it. But
It's left
this
by
is said
Dr.
without
Taylor.
this is said without pointing fingers because it is the responsibility of each of us who have the knowledge to share it and keep sharing it. And it's not a government issue or even a you issue. You is doing the work that they need to do. The rest of us need to pick up the baton and carry it forward. So this morning, I'm going to extend it by just sharing with you the 3 main tips that they are offered to general citizens, what you can do. The first one is develop proper water management practices at the individual, community, and national levels. And I say this morning, those of you who are participating in the 1660 Communities for Change, think about a project that can address the treatment of water in your community. Water management practices need to be improved on at the individual. So this is you in your house washing the one plate for 5 minutes. Community, this is you in your community where a pipe bursts and nobody even say anything, or you see debris and things being piled up that are going to cause obstruction and that are going to cause unsanitary conditions for the groundwater as it runs off, or you get the picture. Water must be seen as a valuable resource which should not be wasted ever. Added the ever. Improved water use efficiency and conservation will reduce demands on existing sources and infrastructure. It reduces costs and reduces vulnerability to drought. So treat the water that you handle in your home as something rare and
As
precious
well.
that you should be careful in how you handle it.
Because because we said Jamaica is a land of wood and
Food and water.
water, so it will never go away. But
Yeah.
the truth is,
It can.
It can. And,
Yes.
and when you, well, some of us know when you only really bathe with a
think
mouthful of water.
full of water.
Yes.
Or 4 or 3 children have to bathe in the same water.
Yeah.
That used to happen. Now look at her face.
She can't believe that. Yeah.
Yes, you have a bath of water, and the little ones all have a go. Yes, unheard of. But that used to happen when water was understood to be truly precious in the country. You don't have
Never
running
water,
water.
so
You
yeah.
have to get out of the tank
Right,
or
yeah.
whatever. Yes, it was precious. You watch the level of the water going down in the tank, and
And you have to,
You have
and
to
they,
be
they have to
careful
catch
with
the
it.
water in when it was rainy season. So most houses in those times were built with these humongous
the tank was usually the most expensive part of the house because
and
it
have
had
to-
to
and
contain
it
the
would
water
have to serve them until
until the next rainy season. And
Right.
so you were careful with how you use it. The second tip is develop and implement watershed, catchment, and land management plans. One of the benefits of improved land use management practices is protection of the quality and quantity of water resources. Poor land use and agricultural practices can increase the vulnerability of watershed slopes to soil erosion and sediment transport in heavy rains. That's a bit of a mouthful and harder to break it down into what can I do if you're not a farmer or if you're not, working with large acreages.
No.
It becomes
no.
a little.
It starts with the small farmer. When you slash and burn practices and you're cutting down the trees and you're not replacing them with something. When you speak about the vulnerability of watershed areas. You look at some area, like, now prime example of that is Haiti. They have
And we see the vulnerability to when there's an earthquake or
and
heavy
when
rainfall.
rainfalls just
It
there's
creates
nothing
great,
that is
great,
blocking the
great
flow.
crisis.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's important.
Yeah. But you see, it's trying to communicate to someone who is in the wilderness, cutting down trees and burning coal,
Yeah.
that his small activity is contributing to some greater disaster.
It becomes compounded.
Right. So that consciousness to see how your activity impacts the larger picture when you have limited options for earning an income is a little it's challenging to place that on individuals. It really does require more coordinated effort at national level
In terms of what you
in
did.
terms of what to do, how to do it. If we set up a policy on how you deal with burning coal and what are you replanting, as when you cut down, do you replant? There are just some things that need to be understood at the national level and then sent down to the community level, so persons are not inhibited in their economic activity while they are protecting the environment that feeds them. The third tip is implement measures to harvest more rainfall. Precious rainwater collected from roofs of buildings and through dams and channels can be captured and stored in above and below groundwater tanks or surface ponds. These measures ensure that even on the driest of days, there will always be a water source, and they have great potential, particularly for irrigation purposes.
But
When
it's
you-
important, and
when-
it needs to become national policy when you build
Yeah.
houses. Because you build all of these
Is
houses.
it as yet a requirement that all of the new construction should have water catchment, rainwater harvesting
No, I don't think so.
infrastructure?
I don't think so.
I don't
And
think it
and that is
is.
how you
I
act.
think it
That's
is
how
still.
policy affects things. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone to way smaller countries than Jamaica, and I guess because they don't have the landmass or the number of rivers that we do, it's not, they can't avoid it. I mean, when I was in the British Virgin Islands,
Tartula?
every house had to be built with
Catchment.
water storage. Yes, I mean, and this in the foundation of the house. It's under the house. Here we seem to just love the big black tanks that are so unattractive, and so you tend to see them, and it's just cheap, I think.
Not
You
you
s-
just right to say the cost of putting in one of those tanks. One time is the cost of the house. But
Yeah, but it's so when we talk about being driven from policy at the highest level, at national, those are things that I'm surprised that Jamaica is not farther along with the measures to harvest more rainfall. And that's a national issue.
It is.
Yeah, that is. So okay, that's how we are doing a bit in recognizing International Water Day. Now on to the some might say more important issues
Today,
of the day. Where would Prince William and Lady Kate be at this time? What time are they arriving?
This afternoon.
Oh, they arrive in the afternoon.
because
Oh,
in the
so
afternoon them there is today is the protest or
yes,
oh no right?
yes. So I would have the time to just
Like
anyway.
the Bayesian Indian who said don't
Don't
land here.
All right. So today, royal visitors arrive in Jamaica. But what can I say? Not gonna be.
What
We
can
are
I
known,
say?
we are
What I
known
know?
for being hospitable people. I want us to talk somewhat about how, as a nation, what is the right relationship and attitude that the Jamaicans should display towards the descendants of the Queen and those who held us in slavery within. I mean, people can still remember some of the horrors of that time, whether because they heard it right from their great grandparents, or maybe they themselves continue to be affected in a direct way. What is the right attitude that one should have? We know from scripture the attitude you should have when you are taken as a captive. What is it? Spoils of war. When you're taken to another country. We oftentimes speak here about the prophet Jeremiah sending that letter of hope to the Israelites as they were captive in Babylon.
Build houses.
Build houses, have children, grow, do not diminish. Don't fight them.
Because if you prosper, you prosper.
If you're transplanted, country prosper, you prosper. So that is what we should do in Jamaica, to which we, the descendants of the enslaved Africans, captured Africans. So it tells us how we should behave while we are here. Grow in impact, in size, in wealth,
Take over.
prosper, and position yourselves to take over.
Yeah, this is what a lot of people are doing in Europe now, the recolonization of
Of
Europe,
Europe,
by
the-
Africa.
I call it the browning of Europe.
You call it the brother of Europe.
Europe will be brown.
So it is kind of fun.
Um,
because they have a policy that says we don't want to have children. People them say, okay, we want to have children. We will come here and we'll have all of the children. In due time, we'll take it over. We'll
Oh,
run the
yes, man.
place.
I applaud my Muslim brothers for their dedication.
Yes, man. It's dedication, you call it.
They put their body into it,
They
everything into it.
fruitful and multiply, they're not taking it
They're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Right. So we know as the transplanted people how we should behave. But now, in terms of our attitude towards the descendants of the oppressor, I think it requires some careful thought. Um, there are obviously a number of their mixed feelings because every kind of emotion is still present at the table today. There is anger, the rage, and of course there is some hatred because many of us look on and not everybody accept Jeremiah letter of hope. Would you say?
Well, that's true.
Right. It's so though for those who don't who are not paying Jeremiah's letter any mind are looking on with a different set of emotions. So there is that. There are those who have the Stockholm syndrome. They have fallen in love with the hostage taker. They have become sympathetic and they are responding in a particular way, and their minds are still trapped in a relationship of inequality and abuse, but seeing it as something of a different order. Yes.
You know, it's the kind of relationship that we have with our politicians. We know that they're doing us evil.
Yes.
And we
They put you a scrap every now and then.
they say, oh, they
you lift
good
it
to
up.
see. They good to see.
Yes.
And but you know, a favorite of mine related it in terms of we know that they're not doing nothing good, and we cause everyone. But when they do something, oh, we're grateful that they're doing. No, we can't do that. We can't do that at all. And the other response, which I think is a great response, which I believe is a free one, forgiveness. Because when you forgive, we need to understand that there are spiritual implications in the supernatural realm in terms of how we respond and what we do. So you've hurt me, you have offended me, you have done everything to malign me, but I hold you up in my heart. What happened is that I thought it by the past and I hold it, but when I release you, you have no power over me. I'm moving ahead and saying to you, we're on the same level. You have thought that in the past, you know, destroying me, but you're not destroying me. I release you, I've given you whatever offense, that I'm moving forward knowing that we're on the same level. And that comes out of the gospel. Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, whatever you might have to say. And the story is told of Nelson Mandela when he was released, and the gentleman who was his torturer when he was in prison, and all kind of things to him. So now he become president, and the gentleman says, oh, I am toast. I'm done for. I'm done for.
You need to learn something. That was a thing I put in my mind yesterday.
Pato,
To teach.
Pato,
Well, you couldn't read it.
no, she's
It's
not so difficult to read it. You practice it.
Mm.
It's because you're a little genius. So it becomes easy for you.
Broke my ego.
But you know what? It's easy for you. But you have to, okay, all right. But anyway, just to say that there is something that happens
No,
supernaturally.
you were talking about I know the story of Nelson Mandela
Yeah.
and
The
his enemy.
Yes.
And when Nelson had the opportunity to put his foot on man's neck,
He said no. That I cannot continue to perpetuate what he has done. I'm releasing them, moving forward, because it is indeed a time for a new day, for a new minute. That's what it does.
all right, so I'm loving the last one, as you said, and I'll stop there as the third one. So we started with, yes, some of you are going to feel angry. Some of us will display anger, and we will have the protests. And I never interfere with a person's right to express their natural and their honest feelings. I don't interfere with it. What say you? You think it worth saying, no, that is not right behavior. No. So those who need to protest, as I've said, just make sure that your placards are well written. The words are spelled properly. There's nothing worse than when you spell one of the words and it becomes comical instead of politically powerful. All right, I just got the signal for 7 o'clock break. So we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we are discussing the right attitude. We're gonna have the right mindset. Kate and William are here, and we don't miss a beat. It is an opportunity maybe for us to have a kind of impact that will shift the response we've been getting so far to the calls for apologies and reparation and writing a more righteous relationship between the royal family and the descendants of Chatterley who they once owned. Let's take our break and then please stay with us. This is the Morning Connection. We'll be right back.
Jamaica is known as the land of wood and water. But for persons living in the corporate area, water lockoffs or low water pressure is what many would term a common assault. And with climate change affecting rainfall patterns, water storage is in limited supply. The government has been exploring several measures to boost water supply, and one such project is close to implementation.
In my budget presentation in March 2020, I had outlined an innovative and transformational project that would simultaneously address two critical challenges, energy and water. I had indicated that the government was exploring the implementation of a pump, storage, hydroelectric, and water systems project. I am pleased to report that we have received an unsolicited particular space and location.
Mr. Holness says the project is in line with the government's long-term plan to increase the use of renewable energy on the island.
Renewables currently account for %13% of our energy generation mix, and our stated target for renewables is 30% by 2030. I've asked the Minister of Energy to increase that to 50%. This will still leave us extremely vulnerable to global oil price shocks. We must formally establish a much more ambitious target, energy. The pumped storage hydroelectric water systems project, along with other proposals on the table, could move our renewables proportion to what I have said, 50%.
The Prime Minister says Jamaica has the capacity to expand its use of renewable energy, as the island is blessed with an abundance of natural resources.
Tapping these must be a national priority. We must transition quickly from carbon-based fuels to renewables as the base of our electricity generation and commuter transport. This is the only way to shield ourselves from the instability of the global energy markets.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. He says once the review is complete, the government will enter into negotiation with the consortium to find an agreement to fast-track implementation. The initiative will also be designated a Jamaica 60 National Development Project.
Rio Grande to the south coast. Hotel workers and man wear off boat. This a for the craft vendors, red cap porters and transportation at airport. Jamaica tourism pension plan, building towards the future. For tourism workers across the island, retirement benefits to contributions. Every worker in the industry, permanent self-employed contract. For your service you deserve security. Yes you do. Tourism workers pension plan, build a bright future. Yes you can. Tourism workers pension plan, workers invest through contribution. All tourism workers, age 80 to 59. Tourism workers pension plan.
Start making your contributions for a brighter future.
For further information, visit mot.gov.jm or call 876-920-4926-30.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Welcome committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADPEM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is good. This is already pastor and friend, Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in the Lord.
Vijam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats. Best better.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. So before we took the break, we were talking through the question posed for your consideration and input when we opened the lines. What is the right relationship to have with the Queen's descendants? They are visiting us, and it is only important that you consider in your mind, how do we treat these people who are visiting our homeland?
I like how you said, consider in your mind. Visible, invisible.
Invisible, absolutely, because it, out of your consideration, out of your heart, will flow
what it is.
What it is that you've come up with.
And it is important for us to understand that and to grasp it. A lot of persons have said to us, "Oh, no, let's not talk about this reality."
Who's that to you?
Yeah, everybody calls it spiritual reality, but everything begins in invisible.
Like the groundwater.
Yes, so we have a good example there. And then we see the impact of it on our life journey. And there's a man that says this important quote. It says, forgiveness liberates the soul. When you see your soul, no, you can't. It removes fear. That is why it's such a powerful weapon.
I don't know that the author of forgiveness would allow us to call it a weapon.
It is. Whatever you want to call it,
what you
but
mean.
It's a powerful weapon.
Yes.
From how we...
So now you're going to weaponize forgiveness. After you just spoke to me about how you're going to
Did you see
weaponize
it?
the tax office. On a serious note, I get your saying. I understand what you're saying. And I'm saying to those Jamaicans who are still feeling anger, your anger, it has its place, it's understood. Absolutely. Anger is not always destructive or hurtful. It is sometimes the first step to repairing a bad situation. And we thank you for the shock and awe that comes when you express your anger and attention is drawn to it. So there is a place for protest. And today, I understand from the conversations yesterday, the Rastafarian community in the area will be mounting a protest in the vicinity of the British High Commission. They'll be there from 10 to. It would be good if you who have some sympathy in that area, some feeling in that area, pass by and show them support. Certainly, we are going to make sure that we're checking on them. And if I'm able to get any kind of, record interviews so I can share with you tomorrow morning how that went, and of course you will see the placards. I'll make sure I take a note and report to you on whether the placards were on point. So there's still room for anger. I know some people are still angry because you know what? To be pretty much have your very existence brought to question and then to be dismissed at every turn. And yesterday we saw in the headlines, Anglican churchman had described Mr. Cameron, who visited, the Prime Minister who visited, and he said he was so crassly dismissive of Jamaican perspective. Today's leaders in the UK are being tone deaf to what is an international move towards setting restorative justice or reparative justice for the behavior of their antecedents. So there is a place for anger, and sometimes it is really the outpouring of this heartfelt emotion that gets the attention. And Kate and William, the grandchildren, need to know that the world has not forgotten. The world has not forgotten the behavior of their ancestors. Right. Then there is the Stockholm Syndrome, is what I'm calling it, because I think that when you gloss over, beautify, gentrify, diminish the significance of the abuse and trauma you have suffered, you begin to identify with your oppressor and fall in love with him or her and begin to see things through their lens, you are denying even the reality of your own experience. You're being delusional about it. And that is not the doorway to a prosperous and happy future. You've got to see the thing about what it is. And that's why yesterday, as the views were being expressed concerning the former Prime Minister Mali and Siaga being put, shoulder to shoulder on one currency, to create a false narrative around that relationship is delusional. It is what it is. We must know what it is, take the lessons that we can from it. And if we are truly moving to end tribal politics, let's do it in a way that is more heartfelt and has obvious connections on the ground in today's world. We can't use history to create a false narrative of the future. Revisionist history. Talk about a lot here. Oh yes, I was trying to remember what had been talking about it in the past. It was when the pastor in Montego Bay, when murder was committed in the church, and persons were putting up the day after to say, well, it was not really a pastor, or that was no church. It was a church. He was acknowledged and treated as a pastor. Just deal with it for what it is. We don't rewrite when we see that later behaviors cast a different interpretation on the past. Anyway, so the Stockholm syndrome is still very evident in Jamaica. There are still some people going for the gold days of the colonial past when they were better under the Queen. We were never better under the Queen. Okay, and then we come to a place of forgiveness. But to really understand how we arrive at this place and it becomes a fruitful place for us, you have to rightly acknowledge the horrible and the true nature of the past, wouldn't you say? You have to see it for what it was, and each person needs to acknowledge it for what it was. And the fact of the matter is, there is no blame to be placed on the state. It's not because you're too weak. It's not because you never fight hard enough. It's not because you came here and you should have run away and you didn't. You stayed, and you took it. Those are not issues that arise in the chamber where forgiveness is being discussed and where the account of forgiveness occurs.
Yeah.
Because as we've said, and it's worth repeating, when you find yourself with your foot on your enemy's neck, it is not for you to shut off his air supply so he dies calling out for oxygen. Even if the black people in Africa or those captured from Africa were themselves encountering their own judgment for past misdeeds, when you find yourself in a position of superiority, you don't continue the punishment.
Which is why it is so powerful. I can see it now. Jesus on the cross, innocently. And then he, in that moment, just forgives them. Because you understand the implication. When you understand the spiritual reality that dies what you see physically, it causes you to behave in a different way. Which is why I'm not going mob justice. Because innocent blood that has been shed. And we know in slavery, I showed you, a lot of innocent blood was shed because of the cruelty and evil in people's heart. Just consider them superior to you for the color of my skin or because of economic reward that time I get. When we understand that, that's why we have to be so careful that we are not repeating the cycle. Because what is happening is that that guy laughing, he said, "Oh, so what they're doing." Yeah, so we can take control of the situation. That is why there's so much power in forgiveness. And I was relating to what happened with the young lady. Remember telling you about I didn't tell you the story. I'm working with this young lady.
Yes, and you said she's like heaven and blessings began.
Yeah, because she had to come to that place. Because when you hold it against a person, you hold them in prison, but they're being tortured.
And I was thinking about you said a story about the young lady. I was thinking that for many of us, many times, when you release something from your contemplation, it no longer blinds your eyes to the opportunities that are around you.
Yes, that's what it is.
When Pastor spoke about that yesterday, I know some people were thinking it's like magically she released somebody from her the anger, but it's magic and it's not magic. It's not magic because when you are so focused on one thing, you miss sight of other things.
All the things that are happening, all the opportunities
that are there, and you carry such an aura or attitude of hostility that persons who would reach out and help you are thinking, she's actually hurried out if I give her food get better, so you don't get fed. It's just the way in which a shift in the atmosphere around you will attract and draw some things to you that were always there, because this is one of the mysteries. This is one of the mysteries. It is always there. It's around you. It's around you. It's just that there are times when your visibility of the thing is blocked. It's crowded. You yourself can't even see it because you're too busy looking somewhere else. I mean, it's the classic story of it. Beautiful girl who has 1,000 suitors and she finally ended up with some not so great choice because the good choices were there, but she was looking for things that don't make no sense, and she ended up
No.
Go ahead. Did I say? I could also say the same thing with the gorgeous young man who makes a bad choice because he's just not looking for the right thing.
Yeah, it's all it is vision of what really is there. You appreciate the good that's there before you because you are so hurt because what's happened in the past. So your heart cannot be open.
It's looking kind of personal now. Trying to view you.
You can't. No, it's a serious thing. You know, you don't see the good that is in front of you because you're so hurt by your past, and you've built so much walls around your heart. Am I speaking to some woman or some man out there in
All
radio
right,
this morning?
Pastor.
No, seriously,
No,
it's true. It's true.
So that's why it's magic and it's magic. It may seem magical, but the truth of it is, it's just very plain. It's just wisdom
Yeah.
that you know
It comes from
you get to.
It comes from the very happy of God.
Yes. Yeah.
He says, God is love. I am love, and I am love. Then you have to respond in love, even with hurt and the offense that has been brought against you for no reason at all. So that is the part of forgiveness.
Yeah.
You're not negating all of the bad stuff that happen, but there's something that happens.
Well,
in the-
forgiveness requires truth and reconciliation.
Yes, it does. Because you have to come
so
to
you have to
reality.
come to.
I don't think you never did
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
But you did me wrong, but I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm
Right.
going to release you. I'm not
Absolutely.
going to touch myself. I'm not going to be in the place and saying, yeah, man, when get you're so preoccupied with that person getting it back.
Yeah. So, therefore, we need to be in a place of forgiveness.
Yes.
And with that forgiveness comes acknowledgement of the truth.
Mhm.
We are grieving now because the Queen and her court did not rightly acknowledge the truth and say what we did was wrong. We wronged you.
Yes.
Now, I am now. If you say, boy, yes, I wronged you. I see that now, but can't afford to compensate you. That is the whole issue.
Mhm.
I can forgive that debt too.
Yeah.
I can forgive that debt. And I think every Jamaican must consider that we make it a place where there's a true rightful acknowledgement that what happened was shameful and wrong. And the ways in which I covered it up, the ways in which I continue to oppress you, try and shift away from seeing the truth of
Is
my
right,
behavior,
yes.
that was wrong too. So for the visiting royals, it's a place of forgiveness and I see partnership. I'm saying partnership because if you're going to break that cycle,
That's
look
what
at
we do
that
in Britain.
beautiful young 15-year-old girl being strip searched in the UK because there is the suspicion that they have weed on her. And I have a very, very nasty suspicion that some of the people in the school were black people who participated in it. I have a suspicion
the officers?
between the officers and the school staff, the staff in the school who knew it was going down and did not intervene and who may have even set it in motion.
What do you mean, yeah?
I don't believe it's all white people. I believe that there were black people involved in it.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
you
my
gone-
belief.
you
I
gone-
want
gone
I
to
want
something
to hear.
else. That's something
No,
else.
no. The point is, if you can't work in partnership to break cycles on both sides of the fence, then the future is not as assured as it should be.
Not assured. It's not assured.
Well, you know, we fight in victory, so we know that there is a future that is assured. But for both of us to participate in it equally. For me, I don't want to be the one who is, you know, sitting off into the sunset, off into the sunset, all good and taken care of, but you are left behind. Idea is for both of us to forgive each other, to move forward, working towards some common objectives. It's an ideal, and I don't doubt that it's challenging, difficult to accomplish, but that is where we have to set our minds to the ideal of both sides being redeemed.
So what about
This is the right.
So,
So,
in terms of redemption and reconciliation, that's what it is
That's
about.
what it's about. And it has to be for both sides. I'm not trying to get into the whole place without you. We're going to try and do it together. So now we talk about a return to the Dominion mandate, where it is mankind addressing the needs of the planet, responding to the urgencies of climate change, sharing resources so that one side don't fall off the cliff and the other is completely in the clear. We're going to help each other so as many as can be saved will be saved. And it ties you back now to the Great Commission, which is making disciples of all nations. Absolutely. And that Great Commission to make disciple nations requires the communicating the principles and the standards of the kingdom that we are ushering in, so that man can exist in freedom and harmony. So for me, and I've been saying since last week, I want us to get to right understanding of the word salvation as the freedom that it represents. And this freedom has to be understood outside of a political context. So when the royals are here, or when any other nation is visiting us, who see us as either a market to dump substandard goods, or who see us as additional vote to show up their domination of the world in the geopolitical arena, or however they see us, we want them to see us as people who are freed from any misconceptions. Absolutely, we are walking in freedom. So this is the design of my Jamaican people, is to teach them to appreciate and understand the freedom which we enjoy. And it is a spiritual freedom. It's not about politics or economics. It is about spirit.
And that point is a very important part. Nelson Mandela
I just
spoke-
look up and I see a listener, Mavis, says to us, there is a song called Freedom by a singer called Prince Oswald. And she's recommending that. Wait, who knows that song? Can you just check for me? Search for a song called Freedom by a singer called Prince Oswald. Because we're talking about it. She says it is sad how radio stations don't play these songs for the people. Right, we're gonna put a smile on your face. Thank you for sharing that one with me.
Yes, it's listening.
Yes.
You know,
I mean, as it comes from her mouth, you know, she's on it. Freedom. We want to talk about freedom. We think of freedom in contradistinction to enslavement.
That's true.
And those who are coming here, visiting us today, are part of that history of enslavement. We need to recognize them for exactly who they are. I have to applaud the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, says he intends to convey to the visiting couple that many Jamaicans are seeking an apology for the role played by their family in slavery in the island. And he sets out the approach that he would take. The parliamentary opposition believes that an apology would be an appropriate way for the British monarchy to begin the process of atonement. I would hope that I get the opportunity during the events that I will be attending to have that dialogue with them and bring it to their attention in a courteous and respectful way that this is the view held by many Jamaicans, and that I think it would be helpful both to the royal family and Jamaica for them to consider this as a means of starting to move forward to a new future, Golding told the Gleaner yesterday. The opposition said it has been consistent in its support in the push for reparatory justice as it relates to the genocide of indigenous peoples and the injustices inflicted on people of African descent during the centuries of the slave trade, chattel slavery, and the plantation system in Jamaica and other countries. Asked if the opposition would support today's planned protests, Golding said, "We have not had a meeting to discuss that. I don't want to preempt a discussion on that." The PNP indicated that Golding has been invited in his capacity as opposition leader to participate in some of the events, including the arrival of the Duke and Duchess at the airport, a visit to his St. Andrews constituency, and a statement. So, Mr. Golding, I applaud you and I encourage you, if you do get an opportunity to raise it in, as you said, a courteous and respectful manner, it is completely in the vein of what we're thinking. Please make sure that you understand. All right, it's time for our 7:30 break, and then we'll come back to you and finish our talk of toys of the morning before we open the line so we can interact with you. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. This is the Morning Connection.
You're listening to this. Easy! Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Don, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith. God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label and Gmail. Almighty Jah!
Greetings, Bitter Sugar returns to Best FM. Wednesdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Tune in as we put forward Bitter Sugar. Yes, your host, Brother Miguel Lorne, as we ride. This is education, African fundamentalism, purity of the race, self-reliance, repatriation. These are topics we're going to go into. Tune in, Best FM, as we put forward Bitter Sugar once more.
Isn't it straight? Is exactly what it is. What is the right position?
And I have said, maintain with all. I'm acknowledging you've done us wrong, but it's not going to hold me back. And we have outlined different positions. We're not taking on the Stockholm syndrome. We are not. We are saying you have done us wrong, and you need to acknowledge that. And in the process, I have said we do forgiveness. So much power in forgiveness. And Martin Luther King said we must develop in the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. And I go back to there because perfect of ourselves are fear. I'm not fearful of them and what they have done in the past or what they can do to me even in the present. I'm just moving forward. I have released you, I've forgiven you, that's my personal thing. But then we need to do what is right. You have no more power over me. You don't touch me anymore. I'm moving forward. I release you. Release everyone. So I like what you said in terms of not moving forward in partnership. And having listened to what you just read from Mark on the opposition. It's important.
Yes, I think he does the right mindset. I was reading, I'm just looking at what Ms. Veteran Ellington had to say about her involvement in covering this on previous occasions. Best to leave that alone. She dropped too much. She did it. Yes. Yeah, let's leave that alone because somebody has to cover it. Culture Yard, Hope Royal Visit will start rival. Let's see. Yes, they're clean up. Let's see. Culture Yard is in Frenchtown. Yes. And that's also in Mark Gold's constituency. Yeah. I would love to have a conversation with Mr. Gold concerning culture, not Culture Yard, but Frenchtown, and its potential to have far greater impact in how it presents and embraces an experience with some of the great cultural events. Current, I mean, they have persons who.
I'm present. Because remember they did this where this news outlet come. Remember the guy talking to somebody.
No, it should be happening round about now. In fact, I need to touch base with or contact there just to see how they're getting along their preparations. I'm just looking to see what is the expectation out of this visit. Whenever people who are active to media, let me just put it that way, because whether you're a celebrity, this or that, or you're a member of a significant family, the media follows you. So when you go into a space, the eyes of the world turn away because persons are still excited about what people do. Yeah, we're curious about what people do and so on. Let's see. Someone is saying there, I'm excited about the visit that the prince chose to visit our community. That's a misdow. Adding the visit has also provided short-term employment for some residents. Boy, everybody wants work. Little bit of work. What's he saying here? Little bit of work. Yeah, way we are. See, there's the attempting to reduce statement made in that one. They've rendered it meaningless. She must be saying the little bit of work we're there, or the little bit of work where we are doing. Yes. The amount of man come to me for work. So she's saying not much work is available, but lots of people came to participate in little work. And yet it's a mess of words. I know that is probably because I said, wait.
But let me just share something with you. We have tourism enhancing fund, which was set up to
enhance the built environment for tourism
and development. This, which is a seat, it is acknowledged as the seat of reggae and so on. They should invest serious amount of money in that case in terms of what do they need to do in terms of community tourism, and then because there's constant work for people coming through.
Remember, members of the community have put forward as one of the 16 city projects. Yes. And I'm very excited to see there because I love it when just regular people of the community says, I want to participate in making my community shine. And you know what? Those are the ambitions that best. It's not when MP said.
Numbers when come from people.
It's when the man, the ladder said, I'm going to make this and I want to play a part in it.
Because God interested in downtown, the little man.
That's why he didn't arrive in a palace and didn't come like William and Kate.
They couldn't resist that.
No, they're doing tour and they're like royals. I didn't come in that way. And that's an important thing to remember.
We could go on.
So to me, there's like a funny relationship. You come in big style and come to country, you're to be treated with attention. That's me. I'm not starstruck. If you come and you're waiting, where is my audience, my people? I must just maybe look up from sweeping my yard and run to sweeping my yard. That is my attitude. If you come now and you've come humbly and maybe you've come help sweep, I will call the whole neighborhood and say, let's celebrate this person. Because the first shall be last and last shall be first. That is my spirit. If you come,
like you go to church and Jesus says, you remember that don't want to be
seated at the best seat in the house and you're waiting to be given the royal treatment.
You sit low and let them invite
me.
Because it's a position of the heart. It's a position of the heart. It's a position of the heart.
Yeah. So they're coming on their royal tour. That is their thing.
Revolution.
Yes,
we have
a request for freedom and a request for talking about a revolution. Did we have a freedom song? Oh, let's hear it. I don't know the freedom song.
Yes,
of course.
Yes,
Oh, we need to prepare for the freedom song.
From
Freedom for poor people, at time the government stop doing the evil thing. Freedom for poor people, at time stop the evil. I want people so day and night. I swear that I might take away the people they might and you know that me fight. Freedom for poor people, at time government stop doing the evil thing. Freedom for poor people, at time the government stop doing. Watch this, look what happened down in Uganda. Look how poor people are dead and are suffer. Yet still them set up summit in Geneva. And an invitation to all world leaders who know God president, them take prime minister. Who not take plane, say them take helicopter, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing them evil, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing them evil. Look for the reason for which them gather. To stop Rasta man from smoking ganja. Now tell me if my people are power them prefer. I'm asking a question, me want to answer, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing them evil, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing them evil. Look what I want down in Ethiopia. Look how poor people are dead and are suffer. Yesterday they set up something in Geneva. And an invitation to all world leaders who know that president, them take prime minister. Who know take plane, say them take helicopter. But listen to the reason why make them gather. Just to stop ganja from growing in Jamaica, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing them evil, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing. Watch this. Bob Marley was the Rasta brethren. Through him the code fund that the same system. The whole of them set up the plan and kill him. Now you see them want we do me the same. True me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing them evil, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at every government stop doing them evil. Look what I want down in a Rwanda. Look how poor people are dead and are suffer. Yet still them set up them talking at Geneva. And send invitation to all world leaders who know God president, them send prime minister. Who not take plane, me say them take helicopter. But look at the reason why make them gather. Just to stop ganja from Jamaica, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at time the government stop doing them evil, me sing. Freedom for poor people, time the government stop doing them evil, me sing. Freedom for poor people, at time the government stop doing them evil, me sing.
interesting commentary.
I'm indebted to Miss Mavis Ware for suggesting that song. I didn't even know Prince Oswald, but now I'm educated a bit more. What's your? I saw you enjoying it.
I was in,
What struck you?
oh, but to just reflect on the geopolitics that is happening in the world today. In a lot of cases, currently there's turmoil that is happening in Ethiopia and other different things. And he makes a question about roundtable we talk about, but roundtable really talking about suffering, talking about trying
To stop ganja from being grown in Jamaica, because ganja has potential to be the goal for us, to be some economic. But it's still the cry. And even we talk of forgiveness and partnership, the different ways that you communicate your message are important. And I think music, if
They're
there's
powerful.
one thing that can give you a rough message in an acceptable way,
It's
is music.
music, yeah.
Music as
The power
as
changes.
ambassador.
For the
Yeah,
change
here we
in
are. I was reading the comment of one other person, one of the forecast in Frenchtown has been quoted, and it's so concerning to me. I'm going to share what he said. We talked about the Stockholm syndrome and that, participant here. This tour guide says, I won't even read the name. Another tour guide believes the visit will help uplift the downtrodden in Trenton. When they come here, it's a blessing that will elevate the community. We just want the strength. That's the main reason I'm looking forward to them coming here, so we can get strength and build the community, he said.
But the man feeling as it in his own mind, this is only it becomes spotlightization and also
Yeah, but what does the spotlight? How does the
So with
spotlight
some
convey
strength.
strength? And how does the spotlight convert in any effort to build a community? That community has been there, I'm going to say for time immemorial. I don't know the age of the community. But we know that community was with Minister of Finance, the longest serving Minister of Finance, wasn't it? Martin?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you know these things intuitively, intellectually, but at a spiritual level, you have not even full consideration of what it means. When I went to Trenchtown the other day and saw the condition, and I'm not saying anything about the condition. I'm just saying it is not where it should be. It's not where the people who live there believe they should be. And I said, but hold on, I never really understood what it meant that Mr. Davis, Dr. Omar Davis was their MP for years and years and years. Their MP is now Senator Mark Golding. No, he's more than a senator. He's the MP. Member of Parliament is Mark Golding, who is also the leader of the opposition, and he's also, whether it is announced with great fanfare or not, but everyone knows he has a connection to Proven. I don't know exactly how it goes, but he understands how to bring big money to a project that has the potential to bring change, prosperity, not just to Trenchtown, but to the nation. and so forth. And we would think that that limited activity could impact.
We or the gentleman would think.
Well, I associate myself with him, you know, he's my brother.
Okay, all right.
It's my brother.
Okay.
So I have to contend with the reality that one of us.
And like you were saying, you might be in agreement, you would leave that the political alone could fix the problem, but it needs a holistic approach in terms of fixing the problems that are so inherent in the era. So you don't know, well, you think so, but we are saying no. I'm in agreement with you.
What would you say? That's no. Let me tell you, man. If I weren't already married and Pastor was not already married, I would just train you a little bit more, and then we would get married. You know why? I figured out how to end every conversation with me. You know this? What's the end by saying? I'm in agreement with you.
So you say I'm trained.
I will give you I give kudos to Michelle. Michelle has got you some good management.
No, but just for serious notes.
I know.
And
And then he said strongly, I'm in agreement with you.
No, you may know, but you made that point. That wasn't on a cliff. No, because I'm saying you said. No.
All right, the producer put you on the side of a cliff.
No, well, he put me on the side of her, but I'm in disagreement. I'm
He
saying.
saw you.
No, it's on the side of a cliff. No. No, but what I say.
It's like when Jesus said to Nathaniel, did I not see you under the fig tree? You saw it. Sprinkling ashes on his head and tearing
No, but
his clothes.
seriously, Minette.
Yeah.
I hear the point you're making, and that has been echoed for a very long time, and it has been used and said, but if this person so and so, then they should be able to bring greater resources and energies in the era in terms of lifting the general lot of the people, but it has not worked. And I'm saying it is not only the political.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. You say it has not worked.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know why it doesn't work, because the basic premise is true, isn't it? A person of impact and ability should influence the direction of whatever it is they're working on. So you and I come, we start the show, and we take it to a certain. I'm gonna get to. We see the heart of what I'm saying. Come, we actually in a particular way. It will have impact because of what we do.
But
The
the
heart
impact for
we
region.
do it.
But the impact for region.
Well, we won't know. The
Yeah,
other matter is why we're doing it, we don't even know that it's having impact.
Okay.
We begin to get data from the market, which will tell us
Right.
if it's far
Okay.
reaching. Hold on, I'm using your analogy. We've seen an MP who we see people who have been in the same place, meaning they're responsible for the same constituency for decades, and they don't have the impact that you desire. And this is measurable. Water, jobs, any kind of economic infrastructure, sometimes in the roads, you see things being on a decline rather being on an uptick. At the same time, you can look at other constituencies where persons are there. Some of them don't even have the same level of standing,
let's
political
look-
standing,
let's
you
look-
might
alright.
think. And you see road being fixed, road being built, school are put up, isn't it growth?
Hold on.
Because the MP has managed to focus their influence and their resources in a particular way.
Right.
So we don't have to guess if the
No,
impact is
you
far
tell me,
reaching. We can see it.
But I'm saying, tell me raise that point now. Tell me which constituency you've seen that happen in terms of influence and people are not born. But it's only happening for us, it's not happening for everybody.
Just the other day, the bridge that broke down in Michael Phillips constituency for more than a year or two and can't be back, the people were complaining that the bridge that broke down and the road that was destroyed in Mrs. Wilson constituency fixed already.
Okay.
I mean, not to point fingers, but,
Yeah, but okay,
there are
alright.
persons who direct their influence in a way and produce visible fruit. And
Okay,
then there
alright,
are
so
some who, for years and years, the ground don't change.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, just look at the picture about Omar Davis.
I was talking about Trenchtown,
Yeah,
and I was
Trenchtown,
looking
Omar Davis
specifically,
in its
and I was looking
constituencies.
specifically
So-
at views expressed by a person, a
Alright,
resident of
so
the
let's
community.
look at what has happened when he was there. He says, I am not going to spend my money doing things that are short term. I'm going to invest in education.
Who?
So
Who said that?
Omar Davis.
Oh,
So-
that's what he said?
Yeah.
You
So,
hear him?
yeah. So what he did by Carsley
Yeah.
school, nothing wasn't happening. You have seen where the output of that school in the time that he was there has increased, because before it was a fair school. Notice no longer happens because he did that in terms of saying, I'm putting money in education. He put money in sport, in Ireland. So I know in terms no, but I'm just saying based on what I know for a fact in terms of measurable things that were there in terms of how he moved the community. He could have more.
They move the community or remove the individuals.
Move the community
But-
education in terms of impact.
But it's not showing, is it showing?
Well, talk to the people there. That's the greatest thing.
Well, we don't talk to the people. We can just use the words of one young man. I hope you like Mike.
I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
why you are in defense of
No,
it.
no,
Hold
no.
on. I want you to listen to me very carefully.
Okay.
Because yesterday the conversation came up about Mr. Siaga. And everyone admitted that he can never say that Mr. Siaga did nothing.
Correct.
The only question that is being asked this morning is, sure, these persons have been there for some time, but still, the communities are in decay. The question is, why is it so? So you don't need to be in defense of anyone, except to say, okay, let's try to get to the root of the problem, which is having done all the things that they have done. Why is it still so?
And I said to you, remember what I said to you, it's a spiritual thing.
Yes, but you're not going into the history of how
Yes, and now the glory things he did.
No, but it's not about that. No, but that's what I'm saying to you. I am saying to you, remember, I always say to you, it starts spiritually. If you have innocent blood that has been shed over years in this constituency, Santiago constituency, or Maldives, what it does, it brings a curse on the land.
I have been saying that to
and
you.
Pastor, that's all I'm saying. Don't get in the defense of anyone. Let's talk about the root of the problem. We're just getting there now.
No, but I said that. Didn't I say that?
No. You said you glossed over it and then you continue to defend all the various things.
No, but I'm saying they have done what they need to do in a physical sense.
Well,
I'm saying, but it's going to come. It's going to run into a brick wall because you have to go to the root of what is the problem. That is my point.
Well, okay.
That's my point.
I will retreat.
Thank you, Lloyd. It's time for the break. Please stay with
A great nation deserves a great radio station. 100.5 Best FM for the good of all Jamaicans.
You're listening to Best.
Defending
BBC News. Hello, this is Jerry.
No, I'm telling you. And then
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has told the Italian parliament his country is on the brink of surviving the Russian invasion, almost 4 weeks after it began. This cautious optimism comes despite a warning from the Ukrainian military that Russia will continue to indiscriminately shell citizen infrastructure across the country.
That's why I'm trying to take care of the legend. I said, come on for the legend.
Despite limited recent advances, Russian ground forces continue to pound key cities that resist. Emergency workers in Kharkiv have been battling to put out fires caused by shelling. Large parts of the city are in ruins. Elsewhere in the north, the strategic city of Chernihiv is suffering almost continuous bombardment, according to the region's governor. He says the city is nearly surrounded by Russian troops, its residents deprived of electricity and running water. Meanwhile,
refugees arriving in Poland have mental health issues because of their experiences.
The Russian journalist and co-winner of last year's Nobel Peace Prize, Dmitry Muratov, has announced he will donate his Nobel medal to be auctioned to raise funds for Ukrainian refugees. Mr. Muratov, who is editor-in-chief of the independent newspaper Novaya Gazeta, said he wanted to share the gold medal with peaceful refugees and wounded and sick children who need emergency treatment. The jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has been found guilty on new embezzlement charges in a trial held in a penal colony where he's already imprisoned. Prosecutors are seeking a further 13 years to the prison term he's already serving. He was found guilty of defrauding his own anti-corruption foundation, which has accused President Putin of having illegally obtained billions of dollars in assets. A spokeswoman for Navalny said the case had been fabricated. News from the BBC. A special envoy for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, has visited Myanmar in an attempt to end the political crisis that followed last year's military coup. He met the coup leader, General Min Aung Hlaing. Jonathan Head reports.
The Special Envoy, Cambodia's Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn, met the coup leader, General Min Aung Hlaing, who has been shunned by the other ASEAN member states for the past 11 months. But he was barred from meeting Aung San Suu Kyi, whose government was deposed by the coup and who still enjoys wide public support. Human rights groups and the exiled National Unity Government, which is challenging military rule, have condemned the visit as a propaganda gift to the coup leader with nothing offered in return.
Sri Lanka has deployed soldiers at petrol stations after 3 people died recently queuing to buy fuel in sweltering heat. At least 2 army personnel are to be posted at every pump. Lipika Pello reports.
The Sri Lankan authorities say soldiers have been deployed after angry crowds blocked a busy street in the capital Colombo on Monday because they were unable to buy kerosene for cooking stoves. The move also follows complaints of stockpiling and the fatal stabbing of a motorcyclist by a driver after a dispute over his place in the queue. A sharp rise in prices and tension over scarcity of supplies led to sporadic violence in recent weeks among people waiting to buy essential items.
The French government has called for calm following the death on Monday of a jailed Corsican nationalist who'd been in a coma since he was attacked 3 weeks ago by a fellow prisoner. There have been violent protests in Corsica since the attack on Yvon Colonna, as some of the island still see Colonna as a hero in the fight for independence from France. And those are the latest stories from BBC News.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
is coming back.
Yes, yes, indeed, it's redemption time with Apostle Clive Campbell presenting a life-changing, life-challenging message to encourage, inspire, and motivate you towards your destiny. Every Tuesday night from 9:30 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. and on Saturday from 9 o'clock until 10, right here on Best 100 FM. It's redemption time.
I'm standing.
Vijam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Okay, so we're going to open the lines in a short while, and remember the numbers to call are 619-1508 and 279-8473. But before you open the lines, Mr. Engineer, we're going to conclude the conversation that was going before, because I think we certainly do not ever want to be the source of any confusion or bad thinking on the part of our listeners. I'm going to lay the foundation, and then Pastor will just wrap it up, yes?
No, I could go back first.
I want to lay the foundation. I don't want you to just go bat.
You know, I'm to go bat. I go
swing your bat.
Swing my bat. Yes, that's what happens. Okay, go ahead.
So let me lay the foundation. The main topic is, what is the right relationship that we, the descendants of slaves, should have with the descendants of the oppressor? They are visiting us, and anybody who's seeing visitors in their house must have some consideration on how we're going to welcome them, how we're going to treat them, who are they, what we want from them, and so on and so forth. They will be visiting Trenchtown. Trenchtown is in the paper today, with one of the residents saying he's excited that the couple are visiting. He sees their visit as a blessing that will elevate the community and that will give them some strength to build the community. I opened the discussion about Stockholm Syndrome that is represented in the comments, and I started a little discussion around the idea that this community in particular has been under the political leadership of a member of parliament who was Mr. Fan for many years, and now leader of the opposition, who is himself known and connected in the financial community. And I posited the question as to how or why have these persons achieved greater impact in the community. And then Pastor began to speak on the activities of some of them in the community. And we're trying to bring it now to the point where we understand why it is that those activities, so laudable, did not produce fruit.
And when we're doing it, I says it's spiritual. It's spiritual. If you look at records of a lot of communities, it says where innocent blood has been shed,
and where the daughters are put to prostitution,
it brings a curse.
A curse on that.
And a curse on the land is what we're seeing. Because you could do all of the things that you think are the right things to do, but until you go to what the root of the problem is, you're not going to fix it. You're not going to see the flourish, the prosperity. Yeah, because if you the history of where that pressure is alleged that where the first political where they were in a
first blood spilled.
That go a long time between and Siaga. So you understand it. History of that, you understand the implications.
The blood crying up
and
ground, and the land itself was cursed.
Yeah, so even though you do all these things, you do it, but if you want overall,
you gotta right.
And he says, I don't understand how important happen in spiritual realm impact we see physical.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I'm naturally bringing it forward today. Our initiative, Trenchtown, has been proposed as one of communities of the 60 communities. Yeah. And I'm very interested in it because of all the things you have just said. Peculiarities of its history, the history of violence, and the existence of this spot of land called no man's land, which tells me that the land itself can physically show the signs of how it has rejected the people. When the Bible says the land will vomit out, it has a meaning, and we can see it manifested in our own community.
Right in front of our eyes.
Yes, and it's interesting that the royals will be there in the coming days to see how the land itself is still showing signs of the abuse and the trauma that was visited on Jamaicans, the descendants of Africa. We're going to open the lines now. Please do, Mr. Engineer. Thank you, Pastor Percival, because you brought it to us. And what will make a difference, I think, in this initiative that we're starting, because we are definitely attacking the spiritual realm. That's where we're going first, and we're going to keep the pressure on in that realm as people work with hearts and hands in the natural to make the change. I went to Numbers chapter 14, verse 9, when the 12 spies had gone out to, do a recce in the land of Canaan, and they saw that there were giants in the land, and came back and terrified the people with their report. And Caleb it was who said, "Not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, because we will devour them. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them." That's my word for Michael.
Yeah.
Protection that those who enslaved and oppressed us enjoyed is gone.
But the Lord is with us.
The Lord is with us. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning.
Good morning.
Am I the first caller?
You are the first caller. I would let Percival sing for you, but he has made clear singing is not in.
I'd rather you sing for me. Rather you sing to me.
And the more second says, "You are the first caller." That's as good as it ends.
I was trying to call you yesterday, but it was too late. Your guest yesterday.
Yes, Dr. Morris.
She was here defending Siaga, and you didn't say anything about that. But you're trying to stop Papa from talking things this morning about
Santa.
You didn't need any. You didn't need any help with her, man. You're dealing with her solidly.
Santa. Of truth from the yesterday, she was saying, because she comes as a foil to us in terms of something, and she gives the counterpoint. That is what she does. But so it is. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that she even said, like, people were saying, like, Siaga protected us from communism. I believe communism is way far better than capitalism anytime. Jesus was a communist. How do I sound?
It was kingdom, man. All right, go on, time to me other point, because we are not calling nine.
You saw that thing about the guy doing that stuff?
Yeah, we're talking about the spiritual, the gathering.
With the gathering. And they say music, you have some musicians that people think are bright and smart that said music don't influence people. There are more than one song playing in this country now talking about gathering. You heard them?
Yes, and we know about them, yeah. Mm-hmm. So if the young people...
I can't believe that little kids are wearing gathering to school now to protect themselves. That's shocking.
From what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really shocking.
Yes, our children are being greatly harmed by the violence and the I would have said the behavior of adults. Yeah. Because for a child to even feel that he has a need to guard himself, that's not what children look to their parents for protection.
Yeah, it might that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's a complete change now, especially since scamming, killing. In Santa Cruz here, I remember seeing any candle shop. There are about 3 or 4 candle shops in this one right now.
What are candle shops?
Where they sell candle and all kind of oil.
Oh, you mean not for hurricane season?
No.
Lord have mercy. So at least 2 people start laugh when I said that.
But thank you. But understand
that cycle.
As you go in Santa, you understand when we keep referring to the supernatural and impact it has. Because that's how people are. And the question is, which one are going to line up with?
And we have to remember, that Christ himself said that the kingdom of heaven is like little children. Mm-hmm. So you know that the great imitator is also moving against our children. Mm-hmm. So now children are believing that there is safety in these All right, my brother, thank you. You can call me back. Yeah. I don't want to stay too long on one call. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Regarding Trenchtown.
Yes.
Not just Trenchtown alone is development. In order for development to happen,
yes,
people have to be a part of it.
Yay!
Agree with you.
Yes.
The first thing, you could put the best member of parliament or worker down the river and say, the people down there don't make themselves want to be developed, will remain in the same. Yes, we ended up in that Trenchtown, and the man tomorrow might kill them.
It won't be sustained.
Right. When Prime Minister comes say, we're going to give you prosperity. One of the things here to do was realize to tell you that you will have to be part of your idea of prosperity. All hands are dealing with another person.
But the minute you speak, you cast a light on the importance of leadership. Because it is strong leadership, visionary leadership, that can pull people into a common vision. So I do agree with what you said, that people need to be invested in and participating in the change. But there are many times that we are so overwhelmed by the day-to-day and the grind and the oppression and the trauma of things that we haven't stopped to dream and create a vision. But if we see leadership emerging that can bring us into the conversation and hold us there, it will make a difference. Yes.
A lot of people come out of that community and excel.
There you go. So you're
But probably because I used to live in a ghetto era and things. And one of our dreams was to leave. So we always want to go to sovereign center to look around and see the type of environment. We always are great.
Yes, yes. You get out. It's to get out.
Ghetto means get out.
Get out.
Aye.
Yeah, it's to get out. We were talking about when Pastor Percival mentioned the investment in education, which is a noble and a laudable objective and approach. We then had to concede that you're educated and you move out.
Yes.
You move, but ground that you've left behind remains the same. And the whole idea now is, how do you break the cycle that keeps that ground enslaved or oppressed? And that's a spiritual event.
But even the people who left behind want to leave, But
of course, it's because they can't get out.
Who can afford to run
will run. Aye, that is a very good note on which to wrap it. Thank you, brother. I like your contribution, and I do hope that as we are moving forward, we'll feel your presence. Yeah, breaking the cycle of oppression. Do we have another call on the line? Morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Rusty.
I'm good, sir. Still not on your way to or shouldn't you be traveling? Shouldn't you be traveling?
I'm far away from here.
Okay, but you won't be. I'm expecting to see you at the protest. I know that, but aren't you coming into Kingston for the protest? You tell me, say you're coming.
Yeah, but it's trapped me. I can't come.
All right, Rusty. We pray a blessing upon you.
Absolutely.
Money trap me, I know I'm going to take care of. I can't buy money with me,
And those take priority.
Yeah, what I'm saying, what I'm saying, it's not a matter. It's a matter of symbolism, or what?
It's symbolic, but it's not empty, because I know that it is symbolic, but it is not empty of meaning. The truth is, for I think it's symbolic, it's meaning. I remember the Prime Minister making some statement about empty symbolism. The truth is, it has meaning. It has meaning, Rossi. It has great spiritual meaning. Let us call it what it is. They are continuing to show ownership of a kind that keeps the mind enslaved. And to me, that's why this young man in Trenchtown thinks that a 20-minute visit or a 2-hour visit could make a change in the future of his community. He doesn't realize that visit is what will keep his community exactly as it is.
This man is sexual. He really don't know better,
He doesn't. I know.
This man is sexual. I don't think he's a man who really can't think himself. Because people are thinking himself who would say something like this.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, man. No, I hear you. It saddens me that in today's Jamaica, that a Jamaican would put greater hope in a 2-hour visit, if that much, than in what we are able to accomplish for ourselves.
It's like him look at one night. Something like one night. How long that last?
Yeah.
And make money. Long can last.
Right. Yes.
And I agree with you, Rusty. Yeah.
That would be better something.
That would be a better something indeed.
Yeah. What I really talk about? I heard Mr. Biden talk about crime against humanity and atrocity and
yes, in relation to Russia.
In relation to Russia, and don't in mad party
yeah, man.
Don't pass and sushi there. Imagine the people commit crime. But America think about itself now. And it's crime and it's atrocity that commit against that people now. Look here, America has less than 5% of the world population. But yet still the world prisoner.
Yes, those are some damning statistics when you think about crimes against humanity.
Yes, 5% of the world population. But it has 25% of the world is now.
And most of them look like me and you, Rusty. And most of the prisoners like me and you.
25% of the world, most of them are black people, African American,
yeah.
and people from other countries. Immigrant and army people. That is more than crime against humanity.
But Rusty,
yes.
I think you might get up and say that for real. The truth.
Pardon me?
I think you're gonna get up and say that in terms of word.
Well, he wouldn't say it, but the rest of us need to acknowledge it and call them out on it. I think that's the point.
when I'm saying everything, it's not something professional. That's what he's doing, what they doing to other people.
All right, my brother, I hear you are right on it. I'm sorry you won't need to participate today.
Look at racism against black people down Ukraine. Huh? Hello?
No, we're here, you Rusty, and what you're saying is true. It is evident in how that's part of the geopolitics that we have to address as we participate in the conversation, Jamaica itself, because we take a lockstep with the US and disagree with what they say without recognizing.
When we get into one question,
we're starting, Rusty. We're starting, but we can't let things like.
I'm sorry, what happened to it?
I think he's still rounding up candidates.
Yes, I'm Mr. Natal. He come like when him throw him in a jail, he get power and kill him. When I'm in a jail, you have to get up and stand up.
Yeah, man, because when you experience freedom, you gotta be in prison before you understand freedom.
They're working on them ground game. That's what we hear. They're working on them ground game.
Anyway, Rusty. Yes,
right,
my
Rusty.
brother. We have another caller. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Bless the name of Jesus. Bless His holiness. Bless good morning, my beloved sister Minute.
Good morning, my brother.
And Pastor Percy. I listen attentively to all the callers that call in. They are the target. What the mind conceive is what the mind will achieve. The mind is the most powerful organ. Mind controls the effect on our own impulse. You see, Sister Minute.
Yes, sir.
I'm listening to the news morning, and they from the royal, and they go have a big breakfast of garden house, big kitchen, and picture road and all that things. And you see, they will guide them and pull by them, and they close them, and they eat them. You see, why our people perish? Because of lack of knowledge. And if you don't have knowledge, they perish. And I love the way you run the Lord Health this ministry. It's not a program, the ministry itself. And I must come in enough to recognize and mission calling for them tremendous contribution. The way forward must keep a special perspective. We can't come out victorious. We must consider our unite here for united stand and divided fall. The reason why people, when people are prison, and then come out of prison, I think their name was shut up. You remember Paul and Silas in prison?
Yes.
Yeah, we remember them. And they came out and nothing couldn't stop them after that.
Not to stop them, the Bible says, man, God used ignorant and learned men turn the entire world upside down. We have the authority, we have the ability to do what we have step no. We can't retreat, we can't surrender. We must stand resolute in the middle and live a life of faith. So they're doing that down at the Anton street meeting there, Pastor. Macho, that 10 people get shot down there and the politician never differ from the incident to take place. Because they never went now.
Okay.
So God neighbors, so we have to step those fear in our favor. I will use that and entrance catch together.
Or guard race.
And speak the word out of our mouth without fear in our favor and challenge the stratosphere and the stratosphere.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You're always so encouraging. Right, and it's also time for our 8:30. So we'll take the break and then come right back. This Morning Connection.
You're listening to Best.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time.
5 to 8 or fax 7543659. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice.
Vejam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 96. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vejam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. We have 2 callers on the line. Let's go with the first one. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
One quick question. You got live stream today? Somebody was asking us online.
Excuse me?
This is Ross Ball.
Yeah. What has happened? The engagement at our GD. I don't know the time.
Okay. All right.
When I'm gonna be here, because what I'm saying, is the Prince? What time the Prince coming in?
I hear it's in the afternoon. I've not the truth. I guess the itinerary is known, but it's in the afternoon. I'm not sure precisely when.
Okay, but we went to thing there. Is the guy like us there? When the Prince are aware of what's going on?
I don't know. I heard about the protest from you.
I know.
Of course, they would. That's why we're talking about what's the right relationship with these visiting folks. Because when you have some people who think that they should be given a very specially curated experience that take them away from things that are too relevant, some people think that way. Some may think they should see exactly just how it is. Because yes, he should see. They should see. They should. They should see the truth.
The opposition leader is going to take it to them certain things we want.
It's reported in the Gleaner that he intends to have that conversation if he gets the opportunity. But it's also reported in the Gleaner, Faye Ellington was giving some insight into how these visits are managed, and you're not free to just take up conversation. So it's interesting.
But I have engagement. I don't know if people are finished until we're not going to get out here.
So you have to plan your social activism around that.
Yeah, because that is my food,
you call it engagement. You have work.
Yeah, I work out
no, here. Man, when you say engagement, it's only like I go pick up one document. And then the other freedom fighters say, what? You can pick up document tomorrow.
No, it's not
but you have work. You have work. Yes. Yeah.
So, like what time the Prince coming in?
I don't have his itinerary. Yeah, but I feel sure you can check. If you can, I'm sure you can check and get some information.
Try and find out. But I try reach there. But like so and drive him when we're not going to drive around and just
well, let me tell you something. And you as a photojournalist need to maybe plan a strategy around that. It is of interest to the rest of the world if Jamaica, with all her talk of freedom and liberality, chose to hide the Prince from a place like this High Commission. I figure you were all going to university of a place that you must visit. Can you come to Jamaica and not visit British High Commission?
Yeah, but you maybe don't remember visit it. Maybe just visit
Yes, but you know, I don't want to do a freedom fighting 101 on air. But if you're going into this business, you must have your system of knowing what the reliable information is so you can be in the right place and the right time.
All right. This is like how it's like we see them have them dinner and have some little place and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
So them places people should be charged. Like when the Prince are driving, people are protest. That means they definitely know that people never really welcome in here. You know what I mean? You know, to the whole Jamaica. So when them get the little opposition leader talk, you can say, well then, you know, you can say, you know, the opposition, you know, that's the opposition. In people line up and tweet and the thing.
All right, we can tell you if that is the sentiment and you wanted to be involved in that, this was the wrong time to be saying it, because that should have well planned already and like a well-oiled machinery being rolled out at every, For example, you know which airport he's coming in, you have to drive from the airport, people could have been on the street I'd need to say no more. But if we're going to do this thing, we need to plan it.
Now check it out. And if at the airport, you not come out at the airport now.
All right, and you have your placard.
I have to do my thing.
Okay.
You know, kneel upon the head right away.
All right, my brother.
And so I go.
Okay. We do have another call, so thanks very much.
Okay, all right.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Rust.
Sounds like Wayne.
How we in, man? How we in?
You know, me this one program undergone and just keep riding my mind with a very bright girl in England and they do it out.
Yes.
And they told the kept around. I hope somebody in England and listen to me and contact me and make them die there. Don't make nobody hold on their head. You make them think you must have something they not see yet. Hold your head high. Pass exam more than them they expect you to pass exam. Nobody can weak in Babylon and can go like them can't do nothing. This story you know. Them Winnie Mandela no matter them beat are stronger. She get me there. Girl, and don't get weak out because we can't afford weakness in this time to be stronger. One more thing now.
Yes.
The queen relative and people them are coming up. People find out can't get me out of my yard but never march and bring up away. I mean that's what I get black people. You understand me? Because then give black people all the money and vote people and all the thing more black people and we not organize and centralize and run our government and our thing. All of that still go down to where?
Yes, but you're not something value of concurrent activities.
No, but we still don't see it as the most important thing for us to do. Get our house in order.
That is
when
why
house in order, people have to respect you and give you one in them.
That's why while the protest crew is drawing attention to the issue, there's an operation team that is getting the house in order because you gotta be prepared for when you take charge.
We have to build our economy.
Yes.
Self-reliant. You understand me? We have to build our own school. So we can grow our own scientists to study nature and deal with nature in the right and proper way and not like how them are dealing with nature, try to turn nature around, turn it back from where it's supposed to be. You know, but what do them things still, you know? You understand?
All right, my brother.
One more thing too, the Bible is not a religious book, but it's a book that teaches more principles of life. We can't live without that. That people progress can't happen without that. And no progress in the world can happen without that. Because amongst rich people, we say them a fight and live bad.
Yes, humanity's
progress. Because moral principle with the Bible teach I and I, you know?
Yes, sir. Well said.
People read the Bible. Black people read in the Bible. I mean, it is encouraging them to read in the Bible. I have talk about them and Rasta try to say some things, discourage people from the Bible and reading the Bible, because hear them all the while, you know. That now go work. I mean, they're not faster than Emperor Haile Selassie the first. But they see him as a great king. I see him like I, who is Christ, in the king of Kara, the Almighty, and whatsoever. You know no man wiser than him. Okay. I don't know why tell me somebody wiser than the king. And the king can just to the Bible. This is all I'm reading.
All right, wait. We have another caller to take.
Minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Minute, love you. Pastor, love you. Pastor, me love you, you know. I first me tell them I love you. All
right.
Hey, he's smiling.
You laugh. I'm telling you something, I love you there too. You know. Because sometimes you say, I have a man and a woman someplace and them talk. Come like man, them want to talk more than the woman. I love you humble. That's all.
All right.
Yeah, listen.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You there? Good morning.
Good morning. We're hearing you.
Sir, we're hearing you nice and clear.
I wanted to get on yesterday because I heard by way of your program that it was International Portrait Day.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You wanted to write up me?
Yes, a short thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's called Positive Thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that I must feed my body with good, clean food, I must feed my mind with positive thoughts. Because if I feed my mind with garbage, it is garbage that will come out of my mouth. So I must at all times feed my mind with positive thoughts. I must feed my mind with positive thoughts, thoughts that are wholesome and uplifting, not negative or destructive. For negative thoughts will always make me miserable and destructive. I must feed my mind with positive thoughts, as my mind and my body so interrelated that the condition of one will affect the other, either in a negative or a positive way. So I must at all times feed my mind with positive thoughts. That's it.
And I take it you are the author. You are the poet.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
Well said.
Yes, thank you for giving us a bit of nutrition this morning.
I want to tell you something about how I got to be writing poems, you know.
Yes.
I don't know if you're, both of you, they are old enough to know of glean a columnist years ago by the name of Morris Cargill.
Yes.
Well, he was a big planter here in Jamaica, white or nearly white.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican white.
Yes, he used to do some terrible articles, you know, against people uplifting themselves and throwing off colonial yoke and so on. When there was talk about Patois being recognized as
language,
yes, he wrote an article saying that Patois is slave language and we shouldn't be talking about, you know, uplifting Patois because it's a slave language. So I said to myself, but is English is the slave language? Because that was forced us by the English or enslaving our people. So I wrote a poem on that. I might read it for you
another time. Was it published?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we're very happy to accommodate your your oral advocacy, because you share your poems with us, and we're happy to do that. Thank you so much.
But the MC today.
This is which MC? You mean High Commission? The British High Commission?
Yes, the protest.
Yes, you're passing that.
Yes.
All right, sir. I'm wearing my Best FM shirt this morning, so when I pass by, one or two persons might recognize me and share their thoughts on, you know.
Okay, and I'm encouraging all well-thinking and progressive people to try to make it even for half an hour.
Yes.
Okay.
And
all right.
Thanks for accommodating me this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Is there another call on the line now? Oh, good
Hello?
morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Hi, Righteousness.
Pastor, bless up.
Bless up.
Righteousness is your listen. Yes. Yeah, so Rascal now what are the thing today?
No, he said he has an engagement and that has to come first.
Yeah, but
so make it very important for you to go.
Yeah, but you know, also. It's automatic. Because if you have an engagement, you know from a week before. But then another just come tomorrow and say coming on.
But listen to righteousness. You need to say something that is of wider application than just fussing about Paul's schedule. So are you going to be there? Are you going to be there?
Yeah, but you can do something. I'm training.
No,
I know, but my program is not the platform. Our program is not the platform for your friendship discussion. He's your friend, so call him and talk to him.
Yeah, Tim call your program, say, give me TV and I know you can't give me.
Then that don't sound like he's your friend then.
Himself call me, no. He couldn't stand on the phone like for me, I'm a talk on funny deep for man.
All right.
So that's how my hype.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
All right.
So what is the good point for? Oh, all right. Good. We have another call.
Man is unjust. Man to man is unjust.
All right. Okay.
All right. Yeah, man. Bless.
Forgiveness.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Malvern, morning.
Yes, hello. Where's the Pastor Percy? Yeah, this is not related to what I want to say, but I was just curious. You still want to have a womb?
That's for you, Percy.
If I still want to have a womb, no.
Your support and loyalty to the Dominicans.
No, man. Okay,
fine. Answer me.
That's a break.
Jamaica. Hear me? Jamaica, society and murderers and thieves. From the south to the streets to the police. While politicians legal at the mark of the beat. War and crime in the streets. Now, as far as the how the Jamaican people should
it's the end of the lyrics.
message the royal press.
Yes.
We should make them understand that there's a great hate and anger. And we demand money, cash,
money, and regulation of our natural resources. That we should have to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing. I see murdering that now stop. I'm done tell you that long time, so that will only increase. I can pray from now till next million years. Because as a country, we deny what God has said to destroy murderers. And so we choose not to, not me personally, but so about him.
Right.
I see what you mean. We should resume the
Death penalty.
death
Of
penalty.
course.
Yes, we should.
Why should I be afraid of you? I can do you what I want to do you. There's no consequence.
Okay.
That's human nature. I'm not afraid.
Mm.
If we can come in the studio, come do and do. What will stop me? You said, heart man, and stop me. Man is evil.
Okay.
As a man said, Jesus said that. He said, no, it is not a man. Late.
All right. So,
So you go and say, man is good. Man is good. Unless him choose to submit to God.
true.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So it's something that we spend time talking about. But I do get you, my brother. Thank you for the lyrics as well. I didn't know you had it in you, but I'm pleased to discover it.
man.
Yes, I have a few more still.
Yeah. All right. Good. We're gonna have a question.
Right, madam. Bless you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we're just talking about the penalty thing, you know?
Yes.
It's my Haile Selassie the first thing I want to say. He never abolished the penalty. Because to do that, like you consent to people for go do wrong. Yeah, but reality, a man picking a house now, you kill a woman, you kill a kidney, and you know, you don't get your son, you don't go and you get stuff, and you know, and dead, you know. I think that's something sensible, some things that people do. Starting when we think the patient can go sit in jail and fat food and get fat. You know, you might continue and come back and see thing and promote the same thing we are going, you know. You have to give people punishment because they're crime to make them really know that, yeah, I see you think you have to do something like that. You cannot, if you start slapping and you give them, it's like you encourage them to do it again. You know, remember, God, with his merciful, God, say, the judgment terrible for those who do not do, you know. So as much as merciful, he full of judgment, so I'm terrible judgment, so bless up.
All right, my brother. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
you know, the debate will continue.
About the death penalty?
Because the church community is split over it in terms of some say that there must be a consequence to your action if it has been proven out a shadow is you. And other people say the other thing that God
good
is
morning.
merciful.
Welcome to the
Morning,
Morning
Rico.
Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Why are you chickens in the background, man?
Yes.
And the rules of scroll. Right? Go ahead, man. What do you have to say this morning?
Well, I'm listening about this loyalty and how there is
the right relationship.
And when I look into the whole thing, it's just like you have a dead in the morgue, and you go to identify your dead, and to dress your dead, to put him in the coffin, and to put him on. No, I am so confused to what is happening, because look, we know this for. Because I remember at the time that Jamaica has been given to the same man we come here now. Jamaica was given to him as a birthday present.
Yeah, we like what, of course.
And before like that.
Yes.
So, come to
look at his eyes. Yes, that's why when I first they asked, what is the symbol? What does it symbolize? Yeah, you're right. It's come to look at something that is.
It is. You know, it is present, and it's filled with facts and values. So if you repeat no way in can maybe take control. So if for him to see it,
then he must see all of it. You agree with Paul who says he must see the protesters lining the street.
You know, but when I look at the protest now, me have a different view because here home is now. You should see nobody but just them and Andrew Holt and cabinet and with them. You should see nobody.
So interesting
you're like me. when royalty is visiting, you ignore them.
You know what I mean? Because man, it burned me so much that I not know what to say. I'm going to hang up, man, because I tell you, it's my next birthday.
Yes.
God bless you, man.
All right, my brother.
Man.
Stay strong.
And just want to do the good thing because if we never do it, we could not talk. All
right.
That's my views.
Yeah.
People hear what me I say. With them, not even that to say, and all with and the plantation managers. Yes, nobody black people shouldn't get around them.
Right.
I'm here searching with the birthday story is
For real.
what- yeah, because I can see it actually. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Connection.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Empress and Rev. My name is Rasta Black.
Rasta Black. Welcome back to the program.
True, man. You know, I agree with Brethren who just spoke. Just ignore the whole thing. The last time a lawyer came to me today, I had a lot of rainbow and green flags made up. And the rest of our brethren and people and so on, so we're going to meet at Sam Sharp Square and protest. And I tell him, I'm down there with some, one-on-one hold-up flags. And then I was listening to a Sunday morning program. And it was that I was down there welcoming the royals.
You know, I was going to say to you that flags are very welcoming. Flags, I don't think flags look like you're waving. Say, look at them. So happy to receive us.
The host of that IRFM program would say they saw the Abeng blowing up welcoming the Queen, and after that down there with the Rasta flag, they welcome the Queen.
Oh, thank you for this.
So I tell you what, I'm afraid to go stand up. Even though I'm protesting. Yes,
I'm
welcoming the Queen too.
Yes.
Oh
yeah,
boy,
that's
what's that
it.
thing?
So
Well said.
I'm planning to go protest in Montego Bay tomorrow, but I'm afraid it might get twisted again.
So you see,
must go with a placard, man. Go with a
it's
placard.
the placard, and it has to be so
powerful
well
message.
written that there's no mistaking that's what you're doing, and then you have to put it on social media and get it out there yourself, because they will still say that the placards are welcoming.
I tell you what, it's amazing. I saw a picture come out with Mark Golden, Bonnie Vela, and what's her name, Maxine Stowe, and some other Rastafari holding the Haile Selassie slogan. And so it was the same time when Mark Golden was running for president.
Yes.
So I said, wow, these Rastafari now look like they're endorsing Mark Golden to be the next president for the Westminster style government that we have here.
Yes, yeah.
So, okay, I didn't like the picture or come out the same time when Mark Golden running for president. And then a Rastaman down in Westmoreland, he's on stage say, all right, this is the next Prime Minister of the Queen's Westminster style government. Let us welcome Mark Golden to the stage. I said, Rastafari, they welcome another Queen Prime Minister. So I know, being a journalist on our own TV station, our TV, I said, let me put the picture up and play God Save the Queen. And I was on the same radio station, but the properly. Okay, you play that Queen national anthem behind this, but I said, look here, if you're endorsing Mark Golden to be the next slipmaster Prime Minister, then
that's
it
the
was
totality
so
of it.
that the Queen is welcoming the Queen to move over, so I'm afraid to go protest because they might twist it again.
Oh, jeez. Right.
Well, I thank you for that entertaining account, and I think those listening who plan to protest need to be mindful that they don't leave themselves open to being described as part of the welcoming party. Thank you, Rasta Black. And thank you too for your continued activism.
I can't stop, man. Oh, Rastafari government.
All right, blessings.
All right.
Blessed Lord.
Thank you. So we're going to take our break now, and then I think we have another call. So we'll be as quickly as possible. We'll be right back.
Listening to this.
The Aeronautical School of the West Indies presents Squawk 876, a fun and informative program where you will learn about flying, aircraft systems, weather, maintenance, and much more. Tune in to Best 100 FM this and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
That's a good one. She tell us about that account.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Every time righteousness calling cost more.
Winter Motor Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, welcome.
Morning, my sister.
How are you, sir?
Morning, how you doing?
Pastor.
Yes, sir.
You know, sir, I was on a bus Saturday, and I encountered a preacher on the bus Saturday,
Oh, what you did to him?
And I want to tell you, from the man start to preach, there was a sort of calm came over me, And even before him said this, that almost when I was getting off the bus, I heard him say, why no come on the bus to collect the money, He come to deliver the word of God,
Mm-hmm.
And there was such a difference between him and
the one before him.
And all those, not that one alone, and all those that have been counted on the bus now.
Wow.
There was something about him that, it was genuine.
Yeah.
Suppose I make a confession. I've preached on the bus before, not to collect money, but to just encourage people, to bless them, because that is the nature of the God I serve. Bless people to want for them to become the best. So I understand, because some people do it with a wrong motivation, I must admit. But it is, so.
But let's not miss the specialness of this particular experience, because in the past it irritated you.
It was a nuisance. Tell the truth, boy.
Yeah.
When you're in a controlled space and somebody come and, they can be a nuisance.
Yeah, and it's all spiritual. That man.
It was that. It was that experience on Saturday. Anyhow,
yes.
What I want to call really to talk about this morning is the prince coming to rub his part in the wound of the Jamaican people.
No, listen. I know it's no laughing matter, but you were listening to Rasta Black's experience when his flag waving was mistaken for welcome.
I was listening to that.
So we're still kind of.
It's a country individual. Some of the questions in my opinion.
Well, he gave a good account of what happened with the protest, but your perspective on it, that it is really is rubbing salt. You are amongst those who feel that they're rubbing salt in the wound, because we were talking it through this morning and saying there are some, like the young man in Trenchtown, who thinks that it's a blessing. I call that the Stockholm syndrome.
Yes. The Stockholm syndrome. It's not that research, the Stockholm syndrome.
Yes. So you start to identify with your oppressor now, and then he give you a little crumb from the table. It's a blessing.
Right.
And
you see, I would have a problem with the prince coming here as a tourist, with the Jamaican and his wife,
Thank you.
I wouldn't have a problem.
I wouldn't have a problem with either.
Celebrate the same day anniversary of the crowning of his grandmother and the throne of England, knowing that what the British has done to us, including the royal family.
Yeah.
It is
crime against humanity. Let's use Biden's word. Crime against humanity.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And we should never. How can we, as African people, always so easy to forgive, man? What is happening to us? Why are we so easy to forget?
Stockholm syndrome. You've researched it, so you know what it is. It is real.
To forget.
It's not that we forget. We have put a shroud over it, and now, first thing we feel guilty. We think we invited it somehow because we were wicked in Africa, and then catch we and carry here. It's a good thing they never kill us, and we start to have all kinds of fantasies about it. But thank you for sharing your perspective on it. Salt in the wound.
Yeah, man.
That's a good one.
Okay.
All right. Take care. You too.
Good.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning. Second time around.
Yes, I know.
Pastor Black. A long time to hear him,
He tells a good story, doesn't he?
His story. I think somebody told him to take email. I don't think he
No, but he conceded it. He said he made his flags and he went there to protest. And
Yes,
then
what
somebody
I'm
was
saying,
labeled.
I think somebody
Yes.
explained to him what happened. He didn't know.
No,
Yeah,
man.
no, we're agreeing with you. He conceded. He said he didn't know.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
it was the
Somebody have to
Because do you know he support the present government. You know that.
well, I see someone has put it on my chat here that I know that he
Yes, he
has
does.
often offered himself in representational politics.
He's a very confused dreadlocks.
But first, didn't he start as an independent and then later on? Right. So politics is the art of the expedient, you know. If you offer yourself for service by yourself, independent of a team, and nobody take you seriously, you're gonna try find a team because you see that it's a team sport. I would not what is it now? Penalize him for his or castigate him for his choice. Nor would I
No,
call
I'm
him
not.
confused. He's trying to serve.
No, I listen that man from talking on the program, and he's very confused. I'm not talking only about politics. The
Oh,
way he
okay. I thought.
talk, his
Okay.
message,
Okay.
stuff like that.
All right. He doesn't communicate well
very
to you.
He's not ready to be a leader in this country.
All right. How about you? What else you
Me?
want to share with me this morning? You're ready to lead?
I am hardline. I was the one that would fight for communism in the 70s.
But if you have a strong belief in it and its usefulness to humanity, you must be prepared to fight for it.
But,
Or you're only a hardline in the house.
Anyway, I like all the talk about stuff like that.
All right. I don't want to push you further.
All right, Santa. Blessings.
I enjoyed his story. Thank you very much, though. Is there another call? Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Clark. So, Rasta, he's on a campaign in a different level.
Yes.
He's on controversial, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a Rasta controversial.
He's enjoying his freedoms, his personal freedoms.
I'm enjoying freedom.
Yeah,
It's
man.
more like the Facebook Rasta, you know?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, like people just think fame and,
okay.
Be for the light and full of it.
Yeah, it's not mentioned. At the same time, in a bill, decently on a level. If you're a rap, go one island. Because I'm a rap, I don't really go for me that people.
Yes, because you are also exercising your personal freedoms.
Yeah, we just want Jamaica constitution change when man at things to make money. We can't even prison.
You can catch him and you know what to do. Yeah.
One laugh for rich, one laugh poor. Someone want Jamaica run. You know, people,